By demand, I saw how many of you clicked on this specific question, and honestly, I am not surprised. This question is a classic trap because the wrong answer feels so logical. We are examining the double locking feature of safety snap hooks. The question asks, what does this feature prevent? A considerable number of people immediately choose D, to prevent the hook from freezing in cold weather. However, the correct answer is B, to prevent rollout. Why is there such a disconnect? Let's break it down. If you chose D, you likely thought double locking means it's sealed tighter, so it's weatherproof. However, we must distinguish between mechanical design and environmental problems. Freezing is environmental. It occurs when moisture enters the metal and freezes. Double locking is mechanical. It's a system of levers and springs. Here is the reality. Adding a second locking mechanism doesn't heat the metal or prevent water ingress. In fact, a double locking hook is more complex. It has more moving parts and more internal crevices. That means there are actually more places for moisture to get trapped and freeze. A double locking hook can seize up just as easily as a single one. So, if the lock doesn't stop the ice, what does? The answer lies in material and maintenance. You prevent freezing by using stainless steel that resists seizing, and by keeping that gear clean, dry, and lubricated. You cannot engineer your way out of winter with a latch. You have to maintain your way out of it. So, why do we double lock? The answer is rollout. Rollout is a catastrophic mechanical failure in which the hook twists, the D-ring presses against the gate, and it pops open accidentally. The double lock is the solution. It forces you to perform two separate consecutive actions, usually squeezing a lever on the back, then pressing the front. It guarantees the hook only opens when a human hand wants it to, not when the D-ring bumps it. To summarize, we maintain our gear to fight the freezing. We double lock our gear to fight the rollout. The correct answer is B. Let's settle a common debate found on safety exams and job sites alike. We are looking at the double locking snap hook. The question is simple. What is the primary purpose of this double locking feature? Is it D, to prevent the hook from freezing in cold weather? Or is it B, to prevent rollout, that terrifying moment of accidental disengagement? If you picked D, stick around, because we need to talk. The misconception why it's not D. It is very easy to think that double locking means weatherproof. But here is the hard truth. Freezing is an environmental problem. Locking is a mechanical solution. Think about it. A double locking hook has more moving parts than a single locking one. It has springs, levers, and gates. Does adding more metal parts stop ice from forming? No. In fact, if moisture gets trapped inside those complex mechanisms, a double locking hook can freeze just as fast, if not faster, than a simpler one. The lock doesn't fight the cold. Maintenance does. If you want to stop freezing, You keep it clean, you keep it dry, and you use the proper lubrication. So, if it's not for the cold, why do we double lock? The answer is B, to prevent rollout. Rollout is a specific mechanical failure. It happens when your snap hook twists around the D-ring. Without a double lock, the D-ring can press against the gate, force it open, and the hook slides right off. You are disconnected without even knowing it. The double locking feature forces you to perform two distinct consecutive actions, usually squeezing a safety lever on the back before you can push the gate open. It effectively tells the hook, do not open unless a human hand is intentionally making you open. In conclusion, so let's clear the board. We do not rely on mechanical clicks to combat ice. We depend on them to fight gravity and accidental twisting. When you look at that snap hook, remember, the double lock is there to ensure that when you clip on, you stay on no matter how. Alright, listen up. Before you climb, we need to talk about one of the most critical moments of your day, connecting to your anchor. We're discussing preventing rollout, that is, when your hook accidentally disconnects, and it's a risk we cannot take. To ensure you're hooked up securely, we have a simple but vital 5-point self-checklist. Let's walk through it. First up is the 2-step check. Look at the diagram. When you open that hook, do you have to perform 2 separate actions? You should press the back safety lever, then press the front gate. If it opens with only one motion, it's not a double locking hook and is not safe for this connection. It must be a 2-step process. Next, the target check. Where are you clipping in? The diagram shows the correct way, straight to your harness D-ring. Do not clip to webbing loops, tool pouches, or side rings, not meant for fall arrest. You need a secure rated anchor point on your body. Ask yourself, am I clipped into the proper D-ring? Third, the snapshot check. When you let go of the gate, what happened? Did it snap closed instantly and completely? It shouldn't hang open or get stuck. It must close quickly and fully, seating itself against the nose of the hook. If it's sluggish or sticky, that's a problem. Fourth is the visual lock check. Don't just assume it's locked, look at it. Is the hook fully closed, and can you see that the locking mechanism has re-engaged? The diagram highlights the lock. You need to visually confirm that the mechanism is back in its locked position, securing the gate. Finally, the most crucial step, the pressure test. With the hook closed, use your thumb to press against the front gate only. Do not squeeze the back lever. Does it stay locked? This simulates the D-ring pressing against the gate during a fall or movement. If it opens, it will not protect you. Remember the final rule. If you answer no to any of these 5 questions, do not climb. Inspect your gear or get it replaced immediately. Your life depends on it. Stay safe. We often think of safety in terms of strength. We look at a steel beam, a thick nylon strap, or a heavy-duty hook, and we think, that looks strong, that will hold me. But in the world of fall protection, strength is nothing without geometry. Today I want to discuss a phenomenon that terrified engineers when it was first discovered. It is a failure mode that doesn't require a broken part. It doesn't require a rusty hook. It doesn't even need a mistake in how you put on your harness. It is called rollout. It is the moment where physics plays a trick on you. It is the moment where your lifeline, the very thing tethering you to this world, disconnects itself simply because you moved the wrong way. We address a critical question today. Why do modern safety systems, such as the orange box, require double locking snap hooks? The answer isn't just regulations. The answer is the difference between going home to your family or becoming a statistic. So, what is rollout? Imagine you are working at height. You are clipped in, you feel safe. You lean out to reach a bolt or paint a corner. As you move, your lanyard rotates. In a rollout scenario, the snap hook twists. The D-ring on your back, that metal connection point, presses against the gate of the hook. Now, if you are using an old single locking hook, the gate is the weak link. It's designed to keep the hook closed, but it's not intended to support your weight. When the D-ring twists and presses against the gate, it acts as a lever. Click. The gate opens, the D-ring slides out. It happens in a fraction of a second. There is no warning. There is no sound of metal snapping. It is silent. One moment you are connected, the next you are falling. It is accidental disengagement caused purely by the shapes of the metal interacting perfectly wrong. The human cost, trauma, and impact. Now, let's talk about the consequences. When we discuss fall protection, we often sanitize reality. We talk about arresting forces and clearance. But what happens when the system fails? If a rollout occurs, you are essentially free falling. Gravity accelerates you at 9.8 meters per second squared. Within 1 second, you have fallen 16 feet and are traveling at 22 miles per hour. When you hit the ground, the trauma is catastrophic. We aren't just talking about broken bones. We are talking about deceleration trauma, where your internal organs continue moving after your body has stopped. We are talking about spinal compression, traumatic brain injury, and, tragically, fatality. Let's be crystal clear about what happens when gravity wins on a job site. When you fall from a height and you hit the ground, the trauma isn't just bad, it is catastrophic. Forget what you see in the movies where someone dusts themselves off with a limp. If you fall here, we aren't just talking about broken bones. A fractured bone is the best case scenario. We need to talk about the physics of a sudden stop. We need to talk about deceleration trauma. Think about this. The precise moment your body hits the concrete and stops dead, your insides do not stop. Your internal organs, your heart, your lungs, they keep moving at full speed until they slam against the inside of your own rib cage. Your brain keeps moving until it smashes against the inside of your skull. We are talking about massive internal bleeding, spinal compression that changes your life in an instant, traumatic brain injuries, and, tragically, we are often talking about fatality on impact. Now, suppose you get lucky. Suppose you catch yourself on a lower level, or you survive the fall. You might walk away, but the psychological impact is permanent. The trust you had in your gear and in yourself is shattered. That split second of terror, that what if, haunts you forever. You don't just dismiss that. This is why we take this training so seriously. This is why question 10 inches our quiz matters so much. When you look at that question later, realize this. It isn't just some multiple choice exercise designed to waste your time. It is a literal description of a lethal trap waiting on this job site. Understanding the reality of that fall is the only way to ensure you never experience it. This is the standard required for systems such as the Orange Box. A double locking hook is a marvel of simple engineering. It requires 2 distinct, deliberate actions to open. You must squeeze the safety lever on the back before you can push the gate open. Why does this matter? Because a D-ring can push, a D-ring can twist. However, a D-ring cannot squeeze and go simultaneously. By adding that second lock, we defeated the geometry of rollout. Even if your lanyard twists, even if the D-ring presses hard against the gate, that lock holds the line. It converts a potential tragedy into a non-event. It turns a rollout into a safe stop. Safety is not about luck. Safety is about eliminating the variables on which luck relies. When you inspect your gear tomorrow, look at your snap hooks, squeeze them, check the action, ensure they are double locking. Understand that that extra split second it takes to open them is the time it takes to save your life. The rules of fall protection, like the ones we cover in our quizzes, are written in ink, but they were learned in blood. Let us honor that by knowing our equipment thoroughly. If you want to dive deeper into the physics of safety, if you're going to understand the trends, the gear, and the science behind how we work and create, I invite you to join me online. My name is Kevin, and this is Basic Concept and Design. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, where we break down the complex world of design and safety, decoding everything from runway trends to the rigorous engineering that keeps us safe on site. Stay safe, check your gates, and I'll see you in the following video. Bye for now. Welcome back to Basic Concept and Design. I'm Kevin. Look at this. This is a marvel of engineering. It's a double locking snap hook. It's rated for 5,000 pounds. It's galvanized against rust. It has a gate that refuses to open unless you perform a specific two-step secret handshake with it. In question 10 of our quiz, we learned that this design prevents roll out, that terrified moment where a hook twists and unclips itself. But here is the uncomfortable truth that the textbooks don't always tell you. You can have the best engineering in the world attached to your harness, and you can still fall. Why? Because rollout isn't just a mechanical failure inside this hook. It is a failure of compatibility. It is a failure of decision making. Today, we are moving beyond the definition of broken gear and talking about broken connections. We are going to look at how excellent equipment turns deadly when we ignore the geometry of the job site. I want you to be honest with me. I want you to review how you worked yesterday, because the most dangerous thing on a construction site isn't a rusty hook. It's a bad habit that feels safe. Let's talk about the forbidden connections. These are the moments where you become the designer of your own demise. Scenario 1, the daisy chain. You need an extra 2 feet of reach. You take 2 lanyards and clip the snap hooks together. Click. It feels solid. Wrong. In the eyes of physics, you have just created a hinge. If you fall, those hooks can twist against each other. One hook becomes the lever that opens the other. It's a textbook rollout caused by user error. Scenario 2, choking back. You don't have an anchor point, so you wrap your lanyard around a steel beam and clip the hook back onto its own webbing. Stop. Unless you have a specific tie-back lanyard, you have just turned this safety gate into a guillotine. When the force of the fall hits, the gate isn't strong enough to hold against the fabric. It slices through. These aren't rare accidents. These are things I see every week. And if you're watching this saying, "Oops, I've done that," good. That realization is the first step to survival. This is where we get to the heart of this channel. Why do I call this Basic Concept and Design? Why are we talking about fashion runways and fall protection in the same breath? Because everything is designed, and design dictates safety. When you look at a connection point, whether it's a D-ring, a rebar loop, or a beam strap, you need to look at it with the eyes of a designer. You need to ask, does this shape fit this shape? If you clip this hook onto a giant piece of rebar that is too thick, the gate can't close all the way. You have designed a failure. If you clip it to a standard O-ring that is too small, the hook gets stuck and twisted. You have designed a rollout. Safety isn't just about following a rule book written by OSHA or CSA. Safety is about understanding the geometry of the materials you are trusting with your life. You are the architect of your own safety system. Every single morning you put that harness on. The scary thing about connector compatibility is that it's silent. A rusty cable looks dangerous. A frayed rope looks dangerous. But a shiny new snap hook clipped to the wrong anchor point? That looks safe. It clicks like it's safe. It feels secure. But the moment gravity takes over, that incompatibility turns into a catastrophe. We aren't just talking about a bruised ego. We are talking about the hook acting like a pry bar. We are talking about the gate shearing off. We are talking about the difference between a story you tell your friends at the bar and a story your family hears from a coroner. So, here is my challenge to you. Tomorrow, don't just check your gear, check your connections. Don't just listen for the click. Look at the fit. Make sure the geometry is on your side. If you want to understand more about the hidden designs that keep us safe from the stitching on a harness to the physics of a fall, hit that subscribe button. I'm Kevin. This is Basic Concept 10 Design. Respect the geometry, watch your connections, and I'll see you in the following video. We have all been there. It's the end of a long shift. You are tired. You want to unclip your lanyard from your harness and go home. You press the gate, you pull, and snag. It catches. You jiggle it, you pull again, re-ip. It finally lets go, but not before pulling a tuft of fuzz out of your D-ring pad or your webbing loop. Most people dismiss this as part of the job, but as a designer, I see it differently. I see a design failure. Welcome back to Basic Concept 10 Design. Today, we aren't talking about falling. We are talking about the subtle way your hardware is slowly destroying your software. You know, I wear two hats. On one hand, I'm a safety guy. On the other hand, I'm a fashion designer. I spend my nights sewing, draping, and looking at textiles under a microscope. When you look at this harness webbing, you aren't just looking at a strap. You are looking at thousands of individual high-tenacity fibers woven together in a specific architecture to save your life. Now, look at the nose of an older snap hook. It has a notch, a little hook at the end to catch the gate. In the industry, we call this the snag point, but I call it the vampire tooth. Every time that notch catches on your webbing, it isn't just annoying, it is breaking those microscopic fibers. It is disrupting the weave. It is compromising the structural integrity of the very thing holding you up. This brings us to one of the most underrated evolutions in safety gear, the keylock nose. Engineers finally realized that hardware and textiles need to be friends, not enemies. They redesigned the geometry so the gate slots into the nose, leaving the outside perfectly smooth. No notch, no snag, no damage. It slides on and off like silk. It respects the textile. So, here is your homework. Check the nose of your hooks. If you're struggling to get your gear off, your gear is fighting you, and it's winning. Avoid frustration and save your webbing. Upgrade your geometry. I'm Kevin. This is Basic Concept 10 Design. Respect the weave, and I'll see you next time.